You ready to rock? Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Does everything sound good?
Flying high.
Just welcome today. We are firing up a new series of podcasts with Todd Giuliano and DJ Della Sala. As you remember, Behind the Mic with Todd Giuliano, huge success. I'm coming into the mix, and we're coming up with some names on this. Maybe Crystal Ballin.
It's a working title.
It's Crystal Ballin with Todd and DJ. Maybe Real Estate Crystal Ball. I don't know. So drop your comments on some exciting podcast names, but I'm pretty sure we'll have some good ones.
Yeah, no doubt.
Soon. But excited to have Preston Jowers on the mic with us today. Preston has been an agent with us just over 2 years now, and going on 3. And really excited to peel back the layers of his success and what he's been able to do in just a short real estate career. We're gonna have some great stories, and I think it's this is meant to be fun, exciting. I think you're gonna get a lot of good content if you are in the real estate industry. I think you're gonna get really good content if you're a leader. I think you're gonna get good content if you just want to hear a couple of us just shooting the breeze on what life's about. So tell us, Preston, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
So I was born in Alaska. We moved to St. Augustine when I was 2. Technically World Golf Village. And I've lived here basically ever since. So I've watched St. Augustine.
And World Golf is a suburb of Alaska. So it's like right down the street.
Yeah, it's I've watched this area just completely explode.
It's crazy, huh?
It is really crazy. But yeah,
Have you been back to Alaska?
No, that's my goal to go back, but it's just I'm so busy, and it's such a far drive, flight.
All right,
ride, so whatever you want to say.
I think it's good. I think it's good to break the ice. So, where's one place? What's the top of your bucket list? If you could go anywhere, where would that be?
Man, that's a good question. Well, definitely out of the country in a non-cruise setting.
Okay.
We went on a cruise last year. That was my first time out of the country, but what's the word I'm looking for? You're so limited with where you can go.
And everything's so fast, right?
Yeah, very fast. You only get like 3 hours. But I'd like to go maybe to Italy or Paris and spend at least maybe a week or 2 there. But that would probably be top of the bucket list.
Awesome. Food. Lindsey and I were fortunate enough to go this summer, and the food's just incredible. I was telling everyone we got back, and it was just like literally lunch and dinner. It was like appetizer pizza. Let's get also pizza to kind of share family style. So we're eating all this stuff. They serve bread with every meal, and you just feel like you're eating all of this food. I got back. I stepped on the scale. I was like, oh, I'm at par. This is great. And it's just like so fresh. And I know everyone talks about how great the food is over there, and how that we how many preservatives we use here in the United States, but it was pretty cool to have that experience, eat a lot of good food, come back not having to shed all the lbs from all the food we were eating and all the desserts. It was pretty cool.
That's what I like. I've heard that with the ingredients that they make everything with, it's almost like, say you eat a whole bowl of pasta with all these preservatives, you feel like you have a brick in your stomach. But I've heard in Italy with the ingredients that they use, you can basically eat all day.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
Cool to hear.
It's going to be a minute before you get there because you're expecting number 2.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah. What's your little family background? So
before I got into real estate, I also did life insurance and things like that. That was not for me. I even did Aflac and some supplemental insurance, which I have a picture. I'd have to show some people. I have an email that I'd sent you, my pitch to insure.
Do group health insurance for us?
Literally. And you were super nice and declining, but at least you responded. Some people don't respond to those things. Anyways, my wife, Taylor, she used to work here, I believe, 2021, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
We met at Bailey's Health and Fitness. It's a gym that I used to work at. That's where we met.
Were you doing curls and she walked by and...
I was spitting $1 million worth of game on her the entire time.
I'm looking over at his biceps. I was like, this is just probably
Well, it was perfect because before I went into work, I'd always get on the clock at 1:00. and I would work out from usually 11 to about 12:30 before I got ready for work. But I'd always be like pumped up, and then I'd come to the front desk where she was working, and I just like have my cutoff on, and I'm just talking to her and trying to spit as much game as possible.
Probably no other dudes were doing that either in this whole place. Like,
it all worked out. And
so your game must have been like,
my game was it was amazing, I'd say.
Yeah. Very humble too.
Yeah,
but no, I'm kidding.
Interesting detail though. You said you went in early before your shift to work out.
Yeah.
Policy, personal decision. Why?
Well, it was just, it was the perfect time. At that point in my life, I didn't have really any responsibilities. So it was a bunch of staying up late, not really caring, waking up somewhat later, like 9 o'clock. I can go work out at 10, get my workout in, and then I just got to work at 1 o'clock. And then do all that, repeat, same thing. That was an easy life.
That's awesome.
That was an easy life then.
So have you always been an intentional guy?
Yeah, I'd say so.
So met her.
Yeah, met Taylor, hit it off with her. Obviously, we started dating for a little while. Ended up having a young one. Crew, my oldest son. Love him to death. But yeah, and everything just happened so fast. How old's Crew now? He's 4. He's about to be 4.
Nice.
This month on the 9th.
Oh.
So very, very soon. 4 days. He'll be 4.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Crew.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Crew.
And now expecting?
Yep. Now expecting. We'll have our new son. He's expected to be here. October 7th is the due date. So realistically, maybe a couple weeks early. I hope not. Because that'll throw a wrench in like all the plans that we have. But he could be here really realistically any day.
Have you revealed the name to anybody? Should we drop it on the podcast?
Yeah, it's Coast.
Nice.
Coast Bennett. Nice. Coast Bennett Jowers.
That's amazing.
CBJ, just like Coast Bennett, or just like Crew Bentley Jowers. So
like
CBJ.
I know.
Future NFL stars.
That's
sort
amazing.
Of pro sport.
Until they go into dad's or to go into each other's closets. You get the same, you just pass it down.
Yeah. Easy save money.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations also. Just closed on your house. Super exciting moment for the family, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So congratulations on all your success. And so, diving into it, I think everybody's mind right now in the real estate industry is obviously there were some changes that happened August 17th. And, we'll dive into to your success in a minute, but just how's it been as a real estate agent over the last few weeks? How has it been for you adapting to the current, rules and how is that going?
I personally prefer it this way. It just kind of ups
the sky's not falling.
Yeah, no, not at all. If anything, you're saving time. I prefer it this way. I like to, put some pressure on myself to perform better. I think nowadays you just have to be a high level agent. So it unlocks more opportunity for anybody on this team because we're all high level agents. We all do a pretty good job, I'd say. So just knowing that I'm not going to have as much competition out there is nice. And then I just know that if I can get in front of somebody, I'm confident in my ability to kind of lock it down there. And if I don't lock it down there, I know that I can create that relationship over time. So good. I'm not scared one bit of.
It's earned now, and I think it's such a. It's the way it's always should. I say this all the time. It always should have been the best agents, the best marketers, and providing the best customer service. So now that that's happening, I think it's going to level everybody up. Things. It is. Nobody likes change, but as an industry, I think everyone will get better because of it. Customer service will get better because of it, and you'll get more deals because of it. So I take it as a good thing. So, every year we do an award ceremony, and for everybody that makes our top 10 every year, and it's try to make it a great event with all of our employees, and like I said, the people that make the top 10 every year, and we have a Rising Star Award that last year I remember talking about it, and or was it 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, this guy Preston, he's really, I just saw it in you. You were coming in, you were doing the work, you were putting your head down, you're super focused. And, fast forward to last year, I think it was $10.5 million in sales. This year, I just looked at, you are at exactly $10.5 million ish and closed. 20 homes closed, another 8 pending. Yep. And I look at that because in a few different lenses, and we'll we'll peel back the layers on that as well. But just because of this podcast and everybody out there, just know everybody's going to come down and be like, oh, I'm going to recruit Preston. This guy knows how to close some deals. So cue up the recruiting calls now. And this isn't to point out anything with DJ or DJ&Lindsey's and what we have right now. And I always say, like, this is just a system. And the system is kind of like if you look at Bill Walsh back in the 49ers and probably way before your time, before my time, the West Coast offense was just becoming about, or he just like invented this new offense. And it's like how a lot of offenses, started running wide receivers, quick throws, and all of these things. And at the time was like, this would never work. If you look at Phil Jackson with the triangle of utilizing Jordan and all of these different systems, not to say like this is some invention that DJ&Lindsey created. I'm not Phil Jackson or Bill Walsh. And I think it is Bill Walsh that created it. I don't know if we can quote me on that, but I think you get the point. Is the system has been able to create your success, to be able to have 20 homes closed already this year, 8 pending. I did look and we'll get into your personal brand. I think you're doing a phenomenal job on social media, building your personal brand. But out of those 28 closed and pending, I looked at 4 of those were personal opportunities that you got that you were able to, receive 90%, I think, split on. And, so the other ones to be able to supplement your income, like how have you been able to manage both, like starting to build a brand in real estate and, utilizing the system and the technology and the leads that we offer here? Like, how have you been able to like pull both of them together to
I mean, I would just say showing up every day and working hard. That's what it really all just kind of boils down to. As far as the social media part goes, I have to give a lot of credit to Taylor because she's been on me about just posting my daily activities and what I'm doing and getting out in front of as many people as possible and showing people, the people that follow me, friends on Facebook, showing them that I have what it takes, because I knew going into this, and I think this is something that all young people should just kind of accept and understand, is that me being 25 or even someone like Noah's going to be getting it. I was telling Noah he's going to be 18. People are going to be looking at him with extra, like, you need.
Yeah, you're young.
Like, you're young. How can I trust you?
It is what it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say with all the people who might think I might be too young to help them or something like that, I have a lot of those clients on Facebook and Instagram that I'm constantly in front of. And I've had a lot of success getting a lot of those people to transact with me. Getting everything to work together, though, I would say the systems, with shifts, you can't go wrong. That's where you're getting a lot of your business from, capitalizing on shifts, getting out in front of those people as quick as humanly possible and showing a lot of value obviously helps. But just to bring it back, I think just the root of all of it is coming into the office, putting my head down and working. And then obviously, you got some downtime. You like to hang out, talk with Todd and everybody. That's what I like about the office setting is we can hang out, but we all, we're all here to get better and work.
And I truly, we're starting to try to put it out there to everybody to see a little bit more. But like 3 weeks ago, it was Todd, Matt, myself, Noah, Gage, who else was there? Walker. We all went surfing in the morning. Today, we all just went again before work, still made it for prospecting. I know they just did a great Jacksonville at the bowling, at the new Jack's Bowl. We're doing, beach volleyball next Tuesday.
Right.
So it's, a lot of this stuff that they kind of, the camaraderie that happens within, I think is pretty special because like, that's the fun stuff. But when you talk about like your learning curve of being 25 and listening to people, and I guess we can just dive in, like when you got started, how did that how did that help you and affect your career? Like being around like the nucleus of the agents actually being in the office?
It helps because, when you're new, especially joining a high level team such as this one, when you're getting hand fed leads, right? Sometimes it can be a lot and you're really scared and you don't know what's going on, but that's the whole point of it. I think you have to get uncomfortable in order to have a lot of success. But being around all of these people that are closing, like Lawrence and Lexi, Scott, like $20 million a year. I mean, being able to just talk to somebody face to face because they're here and ask them questions and they're willing to help you is very, very, very important. I'd say if you're not doing that, that's a huge mistake and you need to start asking more questions.
Yeah. And I know I joked around about, I was like, yeah, Preston's dropped this podcast, the recruit and it is, and that's great and all. And I think what our competition uses against us is like, oh, you have to go, you have to go. You don't have to go to any office. You don't have to do it. You get, but we have a system and we know if you come to the office and you hang out with people like yourself and Todd and these top producers, your learning curve is going to like just accelerate so much faster. And again, that system works. And I compare it to a gym a lot and we all fall, I think, in and out of it, myself included, of different levels of motivation. I know when you go to a gym in January, like 3rd, it's crazy.
Yeah.
February, it drops off. And I don't have to tell you because you were there, but it's the same thing in real estate. We have all of these things that happen in life, having kids, work, dips and deals. We have sickness. We have all of these, just life is crazy. And then trying to fit that all into this like entrepreneurial box of like, oh, I have to sell a lot of real estate. And then knowing that this is a customer service business and we're on 7 days a week and how like we have to just respond to the customers, not because, or you don't, and they'll just respond to somebody else.
Yeah.
I think it's makes it like such a different industry than anybody thinks it is. And so, I've always loved being in the office. I actually learned being in the office. So kind of getting into like backstory of like when I got into the office, I used to wait tables and I was doing real estate at the same time. And then I, incrementally was able to downgrade shifts because, I was selling houses. And, how are you able to just dive in and go head first all at once into real estate?
Well, I've taken a lot of opportunities from like the age 18 to 21. So I've never been afraid of taking an opportunity because look, when I was like 18 and 20, I knew I was not going to be working at some gym forever. There's just no way I couldn't do that.
Got too much game for that.
Well, that's how I got into insurance. Like somebody came up to me that I'd signed up and I'd always remember their name and I was always talking to everybody and I was always trying to go that extra mile for people and it unlocked an opportunity to get into insurance. But how do I want to word that?
So just like so you found real estate. Obviously a lot of people are thinking about real estate as like the highest thing possible you can sell.
So I've always been one to just jump in and you can ask Taylor. And it also, if you have a spouse, it also really helps when your spouse is very supportive of all of those decisions. Because Taylor is stuck with me.
Probably a good life rule.
I literally, and that's every award ceremony, I'm like, I thank the spouses because it's truly without them and their support, it makes it so much harder.
Yeah. When you have somebody who is not supportive, it's like, it makes it 10 times harder when you get defeated.
100%.
Right? And it takes the wind out of your sails. But
we'll circle back to, cause I like how we're going to talk about personal time and carving out personal time. So let's circle back to that. But sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I think it's personality, when I want to go for something or I think something has a lot of potential, like I'm just going in for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, at that point in our life, we were still living, with parents. We had help around us to watch our son and things like that. So, there's other factors that help that, but just me as a person, I'm just like, we're going in and doing it because I don't want to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm never going to get ahead that way. So that's why I've always just went with it.
Yeah.
And it's bit us in the butt a couple of times, but this time it didn't.
Hey.
So But I knew I was joining, a good team. When I was in life insurance, I bought leads. So I knew, I was like, if I'm getting into real estate, there's no way.
And that's what I touched on, and it's not, you are 25 and and like I said, Noah's 18, about to be 19. Like there's no possibility. He's skipping college and he's coming here to work. And I'm so excited for him. I mean, I told him, I was like, watch what Preston's doing, like go on a showing. And like, I don't know. And that means a lot for me, like from a dad to be like, this is this guy is doing what's awesome. And being only 25, I mean, that's you should give yourself a pat on, not just from me, but just as a father, being able to like, hey, I want my son to follow this guy and how he did it and what a great job you did. And
thank you.
So like super proud and super excited. And we talk about you a ton of like how you've just evolved, and not just in such a quick time frame. But when we talk about leads as well, back to kind of back up to that is, yes, out of the 28, 4 of them were personals. I would say next year, watch, it's going to be 10 personals. And so many times I hear this so much that, DJ&Lindsey real estate and this, it's a lead system. And then you got this, but having your now personal brand aligned with that, and having that infrastructure on top of now your personal brand infrastructure, they're watching you sell 24 homes, 28 homes already this year. You've already surpassed, what you've sold last year. I think you have 13.5 million. So you're already up 35%. I think, at least you'll close 15, 16 million. That's a 60% increase in your business year over year, which is bananas, in a down market when transactions are hard, when interest rates are up. Like that's, to me, is like you're setting yourself up for these interest rates to come down, and all of the lead nurturing you're doing, like next year to do 30 million. And now your personal brand just explodes even further and faster. And then incrementally, now we got a different set of problems. Now we got to figure out like assistance and how you're going to manage your time. Also keep the funnel down of leads, keep your personal business and all this stuff. And that's going to be exciting to do together. And I love that because you get to do both, and you always have each crutch to do it on and get paid really well on your other stuff. What do you think has been the most challenging aspect of your career, so far?
The most challenging? Oh man, that is a really good question, man. That is a really good question of what's.
Let's start with what didn't you have to figure out? Right? Like you're getting into real estate. Like what didn't you have to beta test? What didn't you have to do? What were you able to immediately do that maybe a lot of people can't really say that they can do somewhere else?
Well, I'd say me being able to get people to like me has really helped a lot in the business. But as far as what my biggest challenge is, something I really struggled with, is what I'd say. So something I really struggled with when I started was I was so like uncomfortable with literally everything. And sometimes, when I did start, there was a couple opportunities that I probably missed because of fear. And I was so scared of rejection. Because my first couple months with the company, I sold a couple homes, but there was a period of time where I like lagged out for a little bit. And that was because of fear and the opportunities that I maybe missed, or maybe that I didn't take and found a way out of. That's probably what I would say was the hardest. But thinking of what's so hard now, I don't really know, because I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with everything at this point.
Nice.
I just,
feel balanced, feel good.
I feel pretty balanced now. Like I feel like I can take on like any opportunity at this point. But yeah, that's what I'd say with
I think that's really, that's great, because I think as humans, when we're making, call it what it is. So like we get a lot of opportunities, leads here. And my goal as a company is to give the good customer service and stay in front of those customers. And by making phone calls, we are scared. The biggest thing is we don't want to be rejected. However, we're on the other line. And I always talk about like human beings for the most part are like pretty good people. Right. And I was asking Noah made like 300 phone calls, in the last 48 hours. I was like, we're just sitting there eating dinner. I was like, so was anybody like really mean to you or like yell at you? And he's like, no, everyone's like super nice. They just told me they might not be interested, but then I talked to people and they are interested. Now he's like, Dad, how do I, this person's interested in this lot. And it's just so cool to see, but it's within the, 2 days that he's been doing this, he's already talking to somebody that's trying to buy a lot. He's talking with somebody that wants to see a house next week. And I just think that is pretty cool to see as like I said, as a dad. But also, like, I think it goes a lot to people out there. Like, I think we always say, like, get over your fear of the phone, get over your fear of rejection, especially phone's probably the easiest part to get over. I think, too, what I've been, trying to tell everyone the most, especially with this buyer broker situation, is just being prepared.
Yeah.
Like, understanding what the objections are going to be, when they're coming, how they're, because we all know what they're going to say. I don't want to be locked into a contract for this long. What if you don't answer the phone? What if there's a house I want to see? There's all of these different things, and we all know they're coming. Yet we're too scared to practice them. And I've walked around the office watching you guys all, like, in these groups, talk about and work on it. Be very transparent of the pitfalls that you guys have dealt with so far. Like I said, I mean, August 17th is such a thing in the past now.
Yeah.
That
at least for us. I mean, we've been doing this for us. Our stuff went into effect at least 90 days ago.
Yeah.
Like we started actually, like, proactively doing things 90 days ago. We started talking about it over a year ago.
Yeah. I think that's how it should be done. And I'm glad it was done that way.
Yeah. Right. Everyone was like, yeah, we might not have liked it at first, but I think after, knowing where we are now and how prepared you are, like you said, you're not even skipping a beat.
Question: what does hard work look like for you when you say you come into the office and you work hard? I mean, I know you work hard, but, like, outline kind of like what's hard work to you? Like, what is that?
Well, just like, the 9 to 11, the prospecting, making sure you're making your dials, making sure that you are moving people down the funnel and pushing people forward, pushing the sale forward. Hard work like that, hard work as far as, maybe pulling comps for a buyer on and trying to figure out, hey, what should we offer on this property? I would say just the prospecting of it is some pretty hard work. Getting in front of people as much as you possibly can, being available as much as you possibly can, maybe moving things around. I would say that all kind of meshes in with that hard work. That's what I would say on it.
Yeah, because I mean, other people be like, "Oh, I'm working so hard." I know you work hard, but a lot of people don't realize. We say, right, you're gonna sell more than 30 houses this year if you haven't already. But sometimes people are like, "Oh, I work so hard." I'm like, "Yeah, but, like, he does just as much, if not a little bit more, and is selling 10x that." So it's like, are you working hard, or are you just wearing yourself down?
Yeah, and doing a bunch of stuff. You ever seen that movie Office Space?
Yeah.
Yeah, I come in sit down, kind of space out for 45 minutes to an hour. Then I'll send a few emails. Then I'll go to lunch for an hour, come back, space out again.
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, it's funny. And I think in this day and age, doing so much work, like to make it look, and I think people, like, actually work hard on trying to make it look like they're working than actually just doing the work. And Tom Ferry Summit just, like, he kept saying it, work works. Like, it was just like the saying of the summit is just doing some of the work. And I don't know, I think talking to people about buying or selling a home's pretty awesome. I think it's fun. I think it's challenging. I talked about it on the training today. We are all humans. We all have different emotions day by day. And I think, whether we're in a good mood or bad mood, we have to facilitate real estate transactions. So, that kind of versatility of having to be such a, on all the time is pretty tough. And that can be hard work in just itself. So,
yeah. And it's also more than just work stuff. I mean, it's like figuring out, family time and having all of those other things that you have to give energy to. That's half of the hard work.
Well, and that's why I said I wanted to circle back to that, because you said that kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of came up. You and Taylor knew, you're like, hey, this is going to be a problem if we don't prioritize that and solve it now, versus letting that, sore kind of fester and whatever. So, I mean, you kind of go into that, like how, you set your boundaries. I mean, again, you're super intentional with your time, which is something he preaches and talks about since the day I met him. Kind of like walk us through a little bit about like that.
Well, yeah, we had a Tom Ferry training end of last year. I forgot,
like October-ish. I
forgot her name, but she brought a really good training on intentionality with your schedule,
Mhm.
which it was just perfect that training happened, because that whole week I remember I was like, man, I gotta fix up my schedule and figure something out here, because I can't just go into every day kind of winging what I'm going to do. Because it's just not efficient. But if you look at my calendar, it's literally family time is in there, wake up, brush teeth, go to the gym, get dressed, drive to work. And it's to a T.
Yeah.
I even have in there Taylor time, no work. You know what I mean? Like, you have to schedule those things in there in order to make it happen. Because if you just wing it, especially someone like myself, like, I'll say I'm going to do something, and if I don't write it down or if I don't put it in a calendar, I'll forget it without a doubt. So I think you just being more intentional with your time, living by a calendar, living by a schedule, sticking to the schedule is how you can be as efficient as possible, not only in just work, but in all aspects of life.
And I think, like, going back to the gym analogy, is we all have a tendency to at some point, like, fall off, and we're just, I don't want to say get lazy, but we all just kind of pump the brakes sometimes a little bit, everybody. And I think, having the support system, and, I like to say, like, our sales mentors and trainers of Brett, Sean, they're like kind of like those personal trainers. They're not making you show up to the gym, but when you're here, we're going to get you as efficient as possible. We're going to ask you, did you do your diet? I remember showing up to my personal trainer. He's like, no beers this weekend, right? And I was like, Monday, I was like, definitely not. I was like, I might have had 2. And he's like, I know you did. Yeah. And, but he's like, man, you cut that out, do this, eat well, less carbs, do this. And it was like, okay, it's like, you do all of these like things. Then you definitely, like, I'm going to eat some ice cream, or I'm going to have a beer. I'm going to do these things. It's not that you fall off. I mean, it's just, we all like different things. And so I've always enjoyed having a coach, a mentor, a personal trainer to be able to kind of keep me in those, call it guidelines or rails. Yeah. Like, or just lanes.
My favorite thing is people are always shocked that personal trainers are fit. I'm like, I mean, they should be. It'd be like a doctor asking you what they should be doing to you. I'm like, they should know what they're doing. They should be practicing what they preach, right?
Of course.
So it's like they work out 8 hours a day. If they were doing it wrong, they probably would be selling 3 houses and not 30 houses, right?
Exactly.
So that's the one thing that I kind of always try to just bring, remind people of, is like, the stuff you're doing here is possibly the best stuff you could be doing in this field.
Mm-hmm.
And by you trying to cut a corner or take a shortcut, you're only cheating yourself.
Yeah.
And I think you're like a person that I see that a lot in. You I've never seen you take a shortcut or say, yeah, we're supposed to do that. I'm not doing
I
that.
definitely try not to take shortcuts at all. And that, getting back to like the hard work aspect of it, definitely works. But I try to be as disciplined as possible when it comes to my schedule and working. I mean, literally, I try to every single night, fix up my system and make sure it's looking good for the next day, because I don't want to roll in here.
I love that he looks at me like this. Hey, I'm fixing up my system.
Oh yeah, I fixed it up. There's a couple days where I might miss, and I'm sorry for that. But anyways, for the most part, I mean, it can be 9:30 at night, and then I'm like, crap, I gotta update my system. But I know that if I don't do it tomorrow, I'm going to be slacking and trying to catch up. And it's just I don't know if I can say the S word, but I'm not gonna say it. A poop show the next day. I don't want that to happen. So just being disciplined with your schedule and being disciplined with your non-negotiables with work, it'll take you a long way.
So on that discipline, and I think so Lindsey and I, when we spoke at Tom Ferry, we spoke on long-term lead nurture, and I pulled the data of all of our pendings, and it was, we talk about leads. Everybody wants new leads, and don't get me wrong, you have to have leads going, putting into your bucket to then fall out of the bucket that turn into transaction. But over 54% of our leads that were 6 months and older were the ones transacting, which meant, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. We had leads 8 years old in our system that are pending now. It's crazy when I pulled this data.
That's pretty cool.
And you were a big highlight of our quarterly meeting and talking about, that long-term nurture process. And I was diving into, we do metrics on 30 days, 90 days, 180, and then also 365. And the importance of having all of those in your bucket. And you and Lawrence were, and there was a, top 5, and we were talking about all of them, but you had the highest conversion in the company for buyer leads. And I think it was, I wish I had that number. I think it was something like 18.5% over 365 days. That's your conversion, which is like, if you're out there listening and lead gen, like that means,
simplest terms. Yeah.
Like 1 out of 5 people he meets and talks to on the internet lead, he transacts with, which is absolutely bananas. I think that like the average stat, and I think is around 4 to 6%. If you really like take somebody's database of what they're doing, the holy grail is trying to get to 10%. You're almost double that. So like, kudos to you. You're out there, like, definitely listen. So let's get into like, I think discipline goes hand in hand with some of that.
What's the 365 number?
So it's 365 days in a year. So it's 1 year. So it's like, hey, I've nurtured somebody for this long. They've been in the system for this long.
Right. And his conversion is 1 out of every 5 people he converts.
Yeah. So that means he's
your long-term nurture is sick.
So you're converting, and also 30 days, you're converting on 90 days. All of them across the board are equal, which means you're not just cherry picking the new leads. You're not just cherry picking the middle funnel leads. You're you're keeping people. And I think you said it earlier, you're keeping people because you like them. You want to get everybody to work with you. So again, I can talk about like my theory, but like, what is your secret sauce to that?
It's honestly, in my opinion, it's not that hard. When I meet with these people, I would like to say that I give off a really good first impression with like, the market knowledge and things like that, and professionalism. And I hold myself to a high standard, and I think people notice that. But also, when I say it's so easy, it's like a minimum every 2 weeks. If I know someone is going to be a year out, at least a minimum of every 2 weeks, I'll shoot them a text message and say, hey, on a Monday, hey, I hope you have a really good week. Just a reminder that I'm here for anything that you need, whether it's real estate needs or not. I'm here to talk if you ever need anything.
Being a friend, right?
Just being a friend, because I'm doing that. 2 weeks is really, in real estate, I wouldn't say is a super long time to go without talking with each other, especially if they're a year or 2 out. I never let it go longer than really 2 weeks, but being in front of them all the time, texting them, calling them, and they see, some of the properties that I send them on a very regular basis. It's just, I'm constantly there. And then also like get backpedaling a little bit and adding these people on things like Facebook or Instagram. I don't post anything stupid, so I can confidently add these people without thinking they're going to see something stupid on my social media. But that's where it all just kind of wraps in. I get them on, the social media plan, talk to them every day, send them lots of properties. And then on top of that, they're seeing all my activity, seeing the transactions I'm doing, seeing the, activities as far as showings that I'm going on. Like, they know that I'm in the business and I'm intentional. And a lot of them really appreciate how I follow up with them. They appreciate that. Some people think
people don't get annoyed.
No, not really.
People are like, I don't want to bother them.
Annoyed. I've never had intentional people get annoyed with me for reaching out and checking in with them ever.
Well, I have to say, I was looking at the stats too earlier. I think three of those sales have been over $1 million, right? What was your highest sale this year?
2.8.
So think about the buyers at $2.8 million. Like, they are, sophisticated. They've obviously had a lot of success. Their expectations typically, are very high. So I can never imagine somebody in the luxury, and don't get me wrong, in the first time home buyer category, that, like you said, that is intentional and ever feeling like somebody's bothering them that's trying to help them facilitate their dream of becoming a homeowner. And I think the more real estate agents understand that it's not just, it's not transactional. It's supposed to be this, it is emotional. It's the most emotional purchase they'll ever make. It is important. So it is the most important decision they're going to ever make. Like, taking all that into consideration, why we don't put the most intent on that sort of follow up. I know we do here, has to be at the forefront of everybody's mind that is in real estate, period. And I think it gets lost a ton. And so Todd, I didn't know if you had anything to dive in, but
Well,
I'll kind of, then I'm going to go into the crystal ball.
I want to, that it's funny you mentioned your $2.8 million, or 2.9 is, that was the second transaction, I think, in the same family. Is that that same people in Cinnamon Beach? What's the deal with that?
No. So I sold last year. We closed in December at 3.1 million, 5 houses down. That is a wonderful family from Minnesota. I keep tabs with them too, and that's another thing. Just like continuing to follow up, and I'm helping that family's dad and cousin buy a home, and a very similar price point. So that's what I'm saying. Like following up,
all personal business now, right?
All
that's spun off of was the initial
internet leads.
So yes, you got to pay a team split out there, but now you've now spun that off of
and I've earned a lot of personal leads. Some of them haven't transacted yet, but off of these, I feel like if you go into internet leads with an idea that you're just getting screwed on a split, you're just missing the point. You wouldn't have had that lead if you weren't buying an internet. I don't know how to.
Yeah, no. If you weren't in the system, let's call it a system. We have a system, and we provide leads. Yeah. And again, like people, will be like, "Oh my gosh," they're going to call you and be like, "You could have 28 sales, and you could have had 100% split on those." And not, and you would be like, "Well, 4 of those were personal sales, and I got 90% on them, which is awesome." But I also had 24 additional deals, and now I'm spinning off. That's just let's finish that story of the 2. So now you're working with 2 of them to buy a house.
Yeah, I'm working with. Hold on, I think
this guy's blowing up. This guy's phone doesn't stop ringing.
Sorry.
No, it's good.
Noah
it's a good thing.
He called me. He said a walkthrough. Yeah. So the way I look at it is, yes, if I wouldn't have had the opportunity if I wasn't getting internet leads, right? So as long as I'm capitalizing on those opportunities, I can get a lot more personals, and I have got a ton of personal business just off of the internet leads, and that's how I look at it. I look at it for the opportunity, not for the split. But yeah, to go back to the Cinnamon Beach, sold that family a house, 3.1 oceanfront, short-term rentable. That's the only community in Palm Coast that allows the short-term rentals at that price point, right? And then that really helped me with the wonderful family that I helped for, the $2.8 million home. They wanted a place that oceanfront, decent price, and can be short-term rented. And
that's amazing.
I just, from doing that transaction, I knew that was perfect for them. And I worked with them for 7 months. We looked at a couple lots. We through that time had some hard conversations and trying to figure out what's going to be best for them and their goals. And we ultimately found out that being in that community was going to be the best fit for them. And it helped me to explain why it was a good fit, because I had already sold a house there, and I understand the rental projections and the back end knowledge of that whole entire area and community.
That's awesome.
It definitely helped. And it gave them confidence.
It's wild, right?
It gave them confidence to buy into that. And we got them a really good deal. And they got a lot of equity now.
That's crazy.
So kind of transition to the segment. Since we have the crystal ball here, I want to ask you some questions of the future and what your take is. So
please don't say you're going to ask me my 5-year plan.
No, I would never do that. It's very short, like almost 1 to 3 word answers.
Wonderful.
Like, all right. What Jaguars win the Super Bowl in what year?
2024, baby.
Let's go. Oh, well, that's next year. We didn't win this year.
Oh wait, yeah.
This year though?
Yeah, this year. 2025.
Right. 2025. Let's go.
2025.
Sorry, I forgot. It's like property taxes.
Interest rates are lower or above 5% this time next year.
This time next year? That's a really good. I would say, what was the number? 5%? 5.5%. Lower or higher?
Yep. Oof. Or you could say right at.
I'd say like either right at or maybe just a little bit higher.
I think you're right.
I know that we're going to have a rate cut here soon. That's what everybody's saying. And there's potential to have rate cuts in November and December, but it's never guaranteed.
Sure.
And I hear a lot of experts saying we're going to be potentially at 4.8 by 2025. I'm just like, how is that even possible without absolutely like tipping over the economy? I don't know, but I think we'll be at or above 5.
Okay.
I think that's a little bullish to say under 5.
Closed transactions.
Crystal ball says
you're
5.
Yeah. Crystal ball says 5. You're at 28 closed and pending. You know, we have we're in September, so we have 4 months left. January 1, what did you close this year? What do you think? 34?
34 from January 1st of this year to when?
From
January,
now to
this
January
year.
1. So if you're already at 28, what do you think you'll close out this year at?
From now to January 1st?
No, just in general. So like, what's your goal? Are you going to sell 30 houses this year, or what is your goal?
Yeah, my goal was 40. I think I can do 40.
All right.
I still think
You're going to have a big Q4, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to have a big
That's-
Q4.
See that crystal ball? A crystal ball kind of seems
crystal
like
ball sees it.
Hey, you got to
Sees it.
shoot high. You
Yeah,
gotta
hey.
shoot
Crystal
high.
ball says 40.
I like it. Crystal ball says 40.
40.
I
I got a lot of stuff cooking right now, so that's why I'm like, yeah, 40.
It's kind of simmering out there.
Yeah.
What year do you buy your next property?
Oh. What year are we in? We're in 2024. Just bought my first one. I'd say 2026 or 2027. One of those two.
Crystal ball says 2026.
Let's do it.
Q1 of 26. Todd, you got any crystal balls? And questions?
No crystal ball
balls?
questions. I just
We got to be careful with this.
easy with the crystal ball
There you
segment.
go.
Yeah.
No, I just Preston's a great friend. And watching you literally from when we did the story about, that $3 million house till now, I don't want to like go off a limb and just say like, oh, it's a totally different person, but like you kind of are, right? Like I kind of saw then you're just like, man, it's crazy. Like you literally had just started. You were just telling me about like what Christmas was going to look like for your family then. And now what Christmas, looked like and is looking like this year. You're like, I mean, your life is totally different. And I think it's because you are different. I think you have changed. You've matured so much in the last 8 months. Yeah, I mean, like the past 3 days, we've seen you in here, headphones on the phone, facing the computer, talking to people. We had 2 trainings. Like and I don't know if that's because you're on the hook now for a mortgage payment or what, but
It's just
like, and you've never not always been like a phone guy, but I don't know. I just, like I said, you just turn into just a bull, just a workhorse.
I just feel like I'm getting to, and that's funny you bring that up because like, at the end of the day, I always try to to reflect. And I've noticed that it's like nonstop for me now. When I first started, you don't got as much working in the pipeline. Phone going again. You don't have as much working in the pipeline. You might have a little bit more time to kind of ease off and take a break. But I've noticed, this past, couple months, it's been every single day. There's something going on. There's some sort of fire going on. And that's like, I crept up to like 10 pending not too long ago. And I feel like when you get to that point, there's fires all over the place, constant stress, but that's what we live for.
Well, you had 10 pending again. Like it's so bananas when everybody out there is like, it's not a good real estate market. Interest rates are too high. There's opportunity in every market. And for you to capture that opportunity to do that, I think we'll just end on a really good story and just kind of like, I think why we love you, why you're successful, but it's also you're willing to help people as well. And I remember Walker had just first started and I was walking by the conference table and I believe he was going to show some condos and you're sitting down, you're mapping out, you're showing them how to do, you're telling them where to park, how to get through the guard gate. And I was sitting there like, man, that is so cool to see somebody just helping somebody with no, not asking for anything.
Zero to gain,
but just like, because I'm sure, people did it for you here.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like this constant, like amazing flywheel that just happens of people just giving to each other here that I am so proud of being able to see it, to see the dream come true of like, people helping people, helping customers at a really high level,
helping peers at a high level. It's like,
it's really amazing to see. And I'm like so grateful that you're a part of it and thankful. And, like I said, I'm excited for Noah to learn from you. I'm excited to learn from you. I mean, I like to see like things happening in the market that you're doing and navigating, because this is crazy times, and we're all learning together. So just want to say thanks to
Stay
to
badass,
that.
dude.
Stay badass. Again, thanks to the spouses out there. Let's make sure we're taking Taylor on that Italy vacation. Let's go ahead and get that on the books
soon.
Let's get baby 2 out.
Let's get
baby 2 out. Get in the house, and then
I know Todd will close it out for us.
Yeah, this podcast is sponsored by Audible. Audible is a great way for you to listen to books because you're on your way to showing, so you can't read because it's really dangerous unless you use the Teslas, company Teslas, and they drive for you, but still unsafe. You can get our referral link at audible.com, or you can see it below in the description. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Preston.
Oh, wow. We just did it at the same time. That's great. See ya.
Bang.